what's next, guys? I think it's time for the year-end awards. It's actually I, yeah, we're getting into the year-end awards. Let's take a look. There aren't too many categories, to be honest. Ideally, I would have liked to make more categories, but I was making all this stuff up by myself. A highly contested category. Snack of the year. So for snack of the year, celebrity guest minutes. Yeah. The first nominee of snack of the year is this Lay's beer flavored potato chips. These, I think we picked it up at TNT. So they're an Asian snack. You'd have to go to an Asian grocery store to find these, but I highly recommend them. They're really, really good. They have this fizziness to the surface of the potato chip so that when it hits your tongue, you get that bitterness of beer, but also a bit of that crackling fizziness that you would associate with like a carbonated drink. And I was so surprised by those. Amazing snack of the year nominee. Next we have 7D chocolate enrobed mangoes, dried mangoes, which is a new entry just within the last few weeks, last few months. My brother came back from the Philippines with these dark chocolate enrobed, not coated, not dipped, enrobed dried mangoes, and they were so good. Those were sublime. We have one more pack of those, and I'm going to be so sad when they're gone. The next entry that we have here, Wrap Snacks. Wrap Snacks, Snoop Dogg's Wrap Snacks. These chips are mostly a gimmick, and they're mostly goofy and funny. But I would say that the Snoop Dogg flavor, which was barbecue honey, I believe, barbecue honey, was good. Like legit, I would eat those, and I was eating them on stream, and I had to stop myself. And that's always a good sign if you just want that one more chip. So surprisingly, the Snoop Dogg one from Wrap Snacks, definitely a worthy nominee. I'd like to try more. And then the last entry is the Uncrustables. You guys know that was a major story arc here on the Epo Dempsey World show. Diamond is Uncrustable, going from not knowing what the hell these things were at all to going down to the States, finally trying them, and actually still being on the fence about them. It ultimately took like having to go back home and just one random day being hungry, wanting a snack, and just ripping and just taking it out from the freezer and then dunking it into coffee, to finally realize, like, you know what, these do be hitting. And it was a whole arc, and I felt like I grew as a person with these Uncrustables. So what is the snack of the year, guys? It's Uncrustables. and I weighed it heavily on the character development, my interior character development as a human being, finally coming around to the Uncrustables. Rigged. Snoop Dogg got robbed. I thought it was going to be controversial. I knew it was going to be controversial, but I think my train of thought, guys, was just the overall highs and lows with the Uncrustables, and I still fuck with the Uncrustables. And again, it was going from someone that didn't know anything about it to actually trying them and not thinking that they were all that great, and then finally understanding the true intended purpose of the Uncrustables. And I'm not a stoner or anything, guys, but let me tell you, if I was, these would be like higher than number one. So yeah, I ended up liking the Uncrustables as controversial as it may be. I think that the beer chips were really good too. It was a highly contested year. You guys talk about how 2023 was tough for video games. A lot of amazing video games. You got the Zelda. You got fucking Spider-Man. You got Baldur's Gate. For the snacks, it was just as hard. The next category for 2023 year-end review, non-mecha, non-Masume of the year. And one thing I want to say, guys, just to be clear, is that when it comes to these model kits, when it comes to these games, this is all stuff that I personally experienced this year, regardless of if it came out in 2023. Some of these kits, some of these snacks, some of these games may have come out in years prior, but this is just a personal list of stuff that I have messed around with, that I enjoyed. Beer Chips has left the chat. Travesty. I'm writing Jeff. Strongly worded email. So basically a non-robot, non-Masume kit of the year. And we've got the vending machine, or rather the gacha machine. We've got Bulbasaur. We have the pumpkins, which actually isn't a kit. It's something that I made myself, but I didn't really have anywhere else to put it. And then we have the terrain that I ultimately experimented with the moss with. And each of them is kind of like, I enjoyed each one. Each one felt like something important to me. Like I really wanted this gacha kit for a long time. It's a simple build. It's a very silly kind of thing to have, but it's a great accessory to like your Mecha Masume kits and stuff like that. So I really love that. And it was actually really nicely detailed in terms of the stickers, or not stickers, but the art that you could put in and the optional art, right? The Bulbasaur, as I talked about, was something that I built, or rather that I painted in a week. So that was like really special in terms of figuring out how to do things in a timely fashion. The pumpkins, I hand sculpted those and hand painted them, and that was something that I wanted to do this year, and also I want to get into more next year, is like sculpting. And I know it's not a really big deal doing pumpkins after all, but I felt really happy to have achieved that. And of course the terrain became kind of like a key component for the future projects like Laputa, the Laputa robot, figuring out how to do this. So what is the non-mecha, non-Masume of the year? It's got to be Bulbasaur. Give it up for Bulbasaur. Come collect your award, your trophy, Mr. Bulbasaur. And yeah. Again, this is something that I was able to do quickly, and I was feeling at the time, I think I felt a lot of pressure doing a lot of competition type stuff and taking a long time to do projects. And it's hard to keep your interest in a project for several weeks, several months for that matter, right? It's kind of really hard to keep your interest for that long, to sustain it. So it was nice to go back and do something that I could finish quickly, like this Bulbasaur kit, and as well as the concept of having it in a pot with a base that looked like soil, and plants were coming out of it and everything, and then even going on to take the photo with a bunch of other plants. I was really happy with these results, and it just felt really satisfying to finish it in a week. And actually Eddie here was talking about doing stuff kind of quickly. Being more efficient with your time is probably the best way to put it. Trying to not take forever to do things. I was talking with him about it, and how you learn stuff that way too. Not only just the opposite would be taking forever, taking your time, and you can learn stuff doing that way, but there's something to be said about doing stuff quickly and efficiently. So I felt that with this Bulbasaur, very satisfying. Game of the Year, guys, and we have 6 nominees for Game of the Year. And again, keep in mind that Game of the Year doesn't necessarily mean a game that came out this year, although I think most of them are games that came out this year. Uh, they're just games that I played this year, whether they be on stream or off stream. So first we have Stardew Valley. Of course, Stardew Valley, very near and dear to my heart. It's one of my top games of all time, as a matter of fact. Top three games of all time. Stardew, and it was great to play it and have folks come in and hang out. And as a matter of fact, it turned out like a number of folks, like Steph, Chuk, Dyer, a number of folks kind of are familiar with Stardew, so it was cool to hang out and play a game like that where we were all could relate to it in some way, and it was fun to just goof around. And I will come back to that game at some point, but I need to kind of readdress the farm, because the farm is just a big mess. Voting Little Nightmares on this one, says Arch. Super Mario Wonder is something that I picked up fairly recently, and I really enjoyed playing it. It was so joyous, and I think that's a game that I really needed at that time. Was something that was kind of fun and took you back to that feeling of being a kid again, jumping around as Mario or the other characters that you could play as, and it was just a fun game. Super Mario Wonder, and I played a lot of it. I've almost done everything that you possibly can do in that game in terms of collecting stuff, all the rare coins, all the unique stages. Street Fighter 6. I mean, I put in almost 200 hours or something into Street Fighter 6, so that's an easy nominee. And of course, it's just a tremendous video game, especially coming after the kind of iffy launch of Street Fighter V. We all know that Street Fighter V launched, and it wasn't great in terms of like a fully fleshed out package, and that really kind of hurt the launch of the game. And it became this thing for Capcom where they were always kind of put on the back foot, and they always had to kind of struggle for years, as a matter of fact, to get to a point where Street Fighter V became and felt like the game it was always meant to be. Street Fighter 6, on the other hand, came out, and it was all guns blazing. It was a fully fleshed out package right from the start. Story mode, functional online, blah blah blah. And I would easily dump way more time into that game if I was like intending to be only a Street Fighter 6 streamer and player. You know, I would love to do that in a sense. Armored Core 6. It's another easy mention. Amazing game. And it's a game that I felt I really needed a game like that from Software, the makers of Dark Souls, Elden Ring, blah blah blah. Because I started to feel really I personally felt kind of tired of the formula, of the typical Souls formula. And so here we are with a game like AC6, which was kind of reintroducing the franchise to a bigger audience than before. And I think they did a good job, from my perspective, of kind of roping in new people into the franchise, as well as making it a good game for people that have played it the games before, and not losing sight of what made the games good for years. You know, all the other games that had preceded it. I haven't finished this game, mind you. And that's something that I would like to do in the early parts of this year, is actually finish it. But an easy mention. Next up is Typing of the Dead, which I played on Halloween. Fantastic game. I played that for like 3-4 hours or something, and my fingers were so tired, like just the act of typing. And I'm not the best typer, guys. As you could clearly see during that stream, I was not very good at typing. But it was really fun and really goofy, so love that game. Bacon is rooting for that Typing of the Dead. And then the last one there is Little Nightmares. It might be hard to tell from that picture, but that's the long neck lady from Little Nightmares. A very iconic scene from the game. Played that during the Halloween. Little Nightmares 1 and Little Nightmares 2. Unlike something like Super Mario Wonder, which is a game that I play for myself, just on my Switch Lite, Little Nightmares was a great game to play and stream for all of you guys because it was just really fun to kind of, be scared and goof around and, all the funny emotes and stuff like that, or sound alerts. That was a good game to play. So what is the game of the year 2023 for me personally? It's Street Fighter 6. And again, I think that Street Fighter 6, I'm someone that has been playing fighting games practically all my damn life. I met some of my best, not that I met my best friends, but I think many of my best friends, we kind of solidified our friendship through Street Fighter. The screenshot? Yeah, I thought you might like that one, Karmi. D4, yeah, didn't even get a nomination. What a I slighted D4. I know they're gonna write me a angry letter as well. Uh, Street Fighter 6, as I mentioned before, was just a really awesome full package. Even that story mode where you could go around the city and all of that stuff was just so well done. Online, I've worked really well. I played against some people from Australia. I played against a streamer in Australia, and it wasn't amazing, the connection, but we could do it. Um, and yeah, it kind of reinvigorated my love of fighting games. I always enjoy fighting games, but the new cast as well. I thought that sometimes the new characters don't hit when a new game comes out, a new Street Fighter comes out. This time, I loved all the new characters. Fantastic game. Street Fighter 6. Musume of the year. So this category is like a little iffy. In the past years, I would have built like more, or the year prior, I think I built more, but this year I only made 3 Musume models, and I only finished one. So the first one here is Neverlia from 30-minute missions, and that became my Halloween build. And I was very happy with that. You guys, I've talked about it before, but really happy with the base and the stripes, and even the concept with the hair and the bat wings and the ears and all that. I think it turned out really well. Next up, we have the VFG Girl Rankali from Aoshima. I believe it's Aoshima. And that's a model that I've finished as far as snap building goes. No stickers. I don't think I'll do a paint job on it. I'm not really sure. To this day, that is the one kit that has the most runners, the most parts. I think it might be the most expensive kit I've bought. And I had some difficulty with it, which isn't a bad thing. It's nice to have a challenge, and I felt like I was able to understand and eventually wrap my head around the model and understand it. And because it was that much money, my feeling is I want to do a good job on it. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not sure what I'll do with it eventually, but for now, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. And on a similar note, we have the Hunter's Poem Swallow here from Suyata. That's the pick in the bottom corner there. This model wasn't very expensive. Actually, it was for a Mecha Musume kit. It was fairly inexpensive. However, I experienced more challenges with that compared to even the Rank Elite kit, which is why had I finished more Mecha Musume kits, this one would have got bumped. It's mostly here to kind of fill out the competition. I do like how it looks as a finished model, but the experience of building it was not as enjoyable relative to other things from Koto or Bandai. Recently, my brother had seen another Suyata kit on sale at one of our local stores for a good price, and I kind of discouraged him from it. I was like, I don't know, man. Like, if you get that, I don't know if you're gonna have a good time building it, dude. I don't know. And meanwhile, there was also a 30-minute missions kit that was on sale. Sorry, 30-minute Sisters kit on sale, and for considerably less money. And I was like, I think you should get that one. And as it turned out, he did get that one, and he does. I think we have convinced Night Trap to be a Mecha Musume fan. And we could talk about that a bit more, but so what is the Musume of the year? Let's see. Neverlia, I think that was pretty obvious. I mean, it's the only kit that I fully finished in terms of like painting and putting into the display case. I think I worked on this probably all month long for October, not counting the building process, but very happy with this turned out. We all know it's a matter of time before Night Trap joins us, yeah. And I think that I wasn't 100% sure where I was going to go for my Halloween build, but once it all came together, it sort of, once I had that concept down, everything kind of fell into place after. And it also made me realize, like, I was able to better understand my process as far as coming up with a concept and then seeing it all the way through. And that's something that we can talk about more a little later, is like the creative process. What is it like when it comes to like coming up with an idea and then coming up with sketches and then seeing it all the way through? What does that process look like? And I felt like with this, I relied on my past experiences with all of that, and that helped me to see it through, even though I was having trouble coming up with an initial concept. So for that reason, I think that this build was kind of special. And here it is, guys. It's the final category, Build of the Year. Build of the Year. Ooh. So first up, we have the Dragon Gundam Dragon. This is a early entry that started in February, and I think it was finished in March. That's when Joe R. Inferno's Love Tenkyoken Gundam build fighting kit bashing competition took place, I believe, in March. And I was a judge for this, so I wasn't able to actually participate and compete. But I did want to take part in this competition, so I made the Dragon Gundam Dragon. I don't have a large picture of it, but I did show it previously. Again, this is a kit that's very special to me because it's a kit that I have had for years, ever since I was a little kid, and I kept it. Look at those heavy hitters. Yeah, I've kept it all these years, and it was all busted up, but Joe's competition gave me a chance to revive it, give it a second lease on life, and to turn it into this dragon felt like a very full circle moment for me, and as well as expressing my gratitude towards the hobby and the community that has welcomed me. So there we are with that. Then we have the Bulbasaur, which again felt like another very important kit to me in terms of doing something in a timely fashion, doing something in a week actually, and having it look as good as it did. Like that felt really huge, especially in light of how much time I would take for practically every other build, whether it be a month, whether it be 5 months. And speaking of 5 months, the Lapita robot, as you can see on the bottom left, that is the next nominee. I took, I believe it was 5 months just about to work on this kit, and that's not exclusively from buying it to building it and painting it intermittently throughout the entire year. Was a very long process, and I think something special about that, of course, is the fact that I would go on to win some stuff at some awards at Otakuthon Montreal, which is really great. But it was something that I felt was really nice, really great in the sense that you guys all kind of supported me throughout the entire time, watching me build this thing, from building it to painting it and all the small experiments leading up to it, all the little things that I would go on to buy and add on to it, whether it be the sand and all of that, or the grass rather. And it's like, if I was just doing this by myself, I think it wouldn't look this way if I was just doing this by myself and not streaming. I don't think this kit would look this way. Uh, it was really the fact that I was streaming that helped me push me along and get it to this point. And yeah, so that's very special. And of course, the Sazabi finally is noteworthy because it passed the first selection at the GBWC, and it's something that, to me, felt like a path towards more things. Like I was going on the right path, if you get what I'm saying. Like, it's a kit that I was experimenting with and trying to learn how to do things, including plot plating, including scribing, and trying to paint the model in a more painterly fashion, for lack of a better term, with shadows and highlights. All of these things I'm trying to experiment with, and as well as learning how to navigate, like taking pictures properly, filling out the forms for the requirements, all of that stuff. Sounds like the real build of the year was the friends you met along the way. I think so. I think I might have to change the winner now. That's probably the best answer, actually, Bacon. Honestly and truly. So yeah, the Sazabi, all of these I selected because beyond like being very happy with the paint job and the final product, I felt like they meant something in terms of like my growth as a hobbyist, you know? And in my growth as like someone that's a part of this community. So what is the winner, guys? It's the Lapita robot. I know that Bacon here was going for the dragon, and I know that Arch was going for the Sazabi. But to me, the Lapita robot kind of represented a culmination of everything that I've learned over the past 2 years, or even longer, in terms of being a hobbyist and bringing it to a single model. Learning my skills as a painter, miniature painter, diorama builder, even coming down to just the bricks, is actually an aspect of my art that I rely on and do quite a bit in my illustration, is like that configuration of bricks and then turning that into something 3D. The fact that all of you guys have watched me work on this for so long, and then to bring it to Montreal, as nervous as I was, and to win, and the whole stressful period of that, it just, again, if the point of the build of the year is to not only acknowledge something that I was really happy with in terms of painting, but also represents something of like a personal growth or whatever, as a hobbyist or as a person, it's got to be this Lapita robot. So congratulations, I guess. I can't even look at the model because it's not here. I don't have it here. It's on display in Trinity Hobby. so please, a round of applause for the Lapita robot diorama, or spin those glizzies. The glizzy of the year, is that the award? I don't know. And I think that is the last slide for that.